Hey, Slay the Giant family. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm super excited that you are here to join me. Last week, we talked about marriage in the pandemic, and boy, oh boy, did we get so much feedback. And folks were just really happy to hear from David and Ebony. And this week, we have a phenomenal guest. Her name is Carrie Ann Green. Well, hold on. It's not just Carrie Ann Green, it's prophetess, anointed woman of God. Just so many wonderful accolades. And she's like laughing at me. If you can see her face, soon the video will be posted on YouTube. But she's just so talented. She's a dancer. She has done so much in ministry. Carrie is the type of person, whatever she can put her hands to do, she will do it. And she does it to the glory of God. She's a singer. She's a member of my church, Rehoboth Church of God. And I just enjoy her company and always get a laugh when I talk to her. Just a strong woman of God, a woman of faith. And she is single and ready to mingle. For those of you who are listening who are single and available, we'll give her information in. But we're going to have a good time today. So today's podcast is all about being single in the middle of a pandemic. And boy, oh boy, that's a challenge. Many of my friends have shared the struggle of trying to date, trying to get to know different individuals while being in the midst of a pandemic. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to be real. We're going to be relevant. And I hope that everyone can take away something. If you're not single and you're married and you have a single friend, listen to this information so that you know how to minister, how to encourage them, how to strengthen them during this time. At this time, I want to invite and welcome evangelist, Reverend, Sister Everybody's Friend, Carrie Ann Green. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ashley. Hello, everyone out there. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Yay.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I think you covered so much. I am Carrie, and I am from Connecticut, born and raised here, went to school in Tennessee, came back to Connecticut, went back to school in Tennessee, came back to Connecticut, so yeah, but I think you covered everything. I sing, I dance, I preach, I teach, I love people. Yeah.
Just all of it. So you're a graduate of Lee University. You went there for 4 years, and then you also got your Master's of Divinity, or correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Okay, good. From the Pentecostal Theological Seminary. And what was your emphasis in there?
Marriage and family counseling.
Okay, excellent. And then your bachelor's is in political
science. Yep.
Excellent. So you're now in a season where you're things are coming full circle for you, especially for that degree. I know that you are working to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna happen. We're speaking it into existence.
Yes, receive it.
Yeah, so she's in the process of doing that, and so we're just excited to see all that God will do in and through you. But I want you to share a little bit about your single journey. I know that you've been in quite a few weddings.
My God, I've been in a total of, I think it's 16. I think it's 16,
wow.
16 weddings. That has been in the roles of a maid of honor, a bridesmaid, a wedding singer. No, sorry, just maid of honor and bridesmaid in 16. And then I've also sang in a few weddings. So I am 27 dresses, the sequel, period.
So I love the fact that you have been in so many weddings, because it shows that you are such a great friend to so many people and they want you to be involved in it. And you are gathering ideas for your own. I'm sure you have a list of things that you can now pull from, and people that you can now pull from, to gather your own ideas and put together some things for your big day.
Yeah.
So I want you to share a little bit about your single journey, some of the challenges, the benefits. Tell me a little bit about the single journey for you.
Well, the single journey for me has been a very long one. I have not been in a serious relationship since I might give away some secrets of my life. But since high school. I I've talked to people, but because I'm not a person that likes to waste time, if I just see that this is not going anywhere, that it's not productive, that we're just not here, then I'm just going to cut it off. We can be friends, but there's no reason to continue in that, vein. So the single journey for me has been a very, very long one. Most of it by choice, because I was concentrated on school, concentrated on just trying to get my life together, make sure that who I am was solid, that I was certain of who I am and just what I wanted out of my life. And then the other part of that journey has been by God's choice, because there have been many individuals that I've been interested in, and the Lord is like, yep, nope, not that one. Yep, nope, not that one. Or the word of God came to me one time through a minister. She was like, the Lord said he's going to bless you, but he wants you to himself right now. So I was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. So yeah, that has been my single journey. It has not been easy much of the time, because you do get lonely. You absolutely do get lonely, especially having been in 11 million weddings. You get lonely. You get frustrated. You get just sad sometimes, and you have to remind yourself that it's not because you're not desirable. It's just not the time yet. So that's been my journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Something that came to mind when you were talking is discernment, and really hearing from God in the process of dating and getting to know someone. How important is discernment in prayer when you have a prospect, you have someone that comes up to you and they're interested? How important is that prayer and using the spiritual discernment to know what God has for you?
That is the most important thing, because without prayer and discernment, a lot of people end up in very embarrassing situations, very hurtful situations, very destroying situations that they have to spend so much time healing from. When from the beginning, if they had prayed about it and really just listened to God, they could have avoided so much. And so I know that I'm trying to break some cycles in my family. I'm trying to break some generational things in my family. And in order for me to do that, discernment and prayer have to be at the forefront of my relationships. So yeah, please pray about everything. Save yourself the
Everything,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Including men that you meet in the church, right?
No, especially men that you meet in the church. My God.
I brought that up because I find I have, a lot of friends who tell me, that they're dealing with so many of the things that they think that they would be dealing with men who are not saved. They're dealing with some of the same things with men who are Christian and in the church. And I always say that, part of that is we spend so much time training women for marriage and preparing women. And we have all these women's conferences about how to be a good wife, how to do certain things as a mother and all those things. But the preparation process is not the same for men in a lot of environments. And so there's a little bit more preparation on the female side. And then the males, you're like, okay, why aren't they, devoted? Why aren't they faithful? Why aren't they loyal? Why is it that there's certain skills that aren't, developed there? And part of it is we do spend a lot of time training women, but I'm looking forward to the day where our sons and our men are trained as well to just be good husbands and good fathers, and show that they are, men who can, raise a strong family, can break generational curses, as you have already said. Men who can water their wives with the word, the woman that they're with the word. Men who are on fire for God. And, so I believe that God is going to raise that generation of men up. I see it happening. But, I think that's one of the challenges of a lot of Christian single women right now, is that they're like, where are the men who are, serious about the things of God? I'm serious. I'm doing this. I have this job. I have this thing going for myself. But what about the men? And, so I know that's one of the challenges that I see.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, we are taught how to keep ourselves. You're taught to, you have to be pure. You have to be this. You have to be that. And so, like you said, it's been drilled in our heads. Like, we have to do this in order to be prepared for a marriage. But then, okay, so is anybody having the same conversation with my brother to my left and my right? Like, because right now, as we're seeing in this time of exposure, so many of our men are dying and their legacies are being tarnished, or they're alive and their legacies are being tarnished because sexual behavior and relationship behavior and stuff like that. And it's men. It's mostly men. Like, yeah, I'm sure there are women out there, and I mean, they're involved with the men, but there are women out there that are probably caught up in their own scandals and things like that. But it's so many of our men. Why? Because I believe that they've been coddled. So many of our men have just been coddled, and just, it's always, well, they're a man. You have to just understand. Oh, they're sexual beings. So you have to just understand. No, no, no. The same weight of responsibility that you put on a female to keep herself for another individual needs to be placed on the man for the female as well. There has to be some kind of balance there. And I don't think it's been there for a long time, which is why we have the Derek Jacksons of our world right now.
Let's talk about that, right?
Which is why.
I read some of the articles. I've been seeing the memes on Derek Jackson, and, just to hear some of the things that, came out over time, just of how he's cheated on his wife. And then I'm hearing about different women. I don't know how true it is or not. But I do remember him clearly making a statement when all of that stuff was going down with John Gray. And he had so much to say. And I mean, he has a lot to say about a lot of different people who have been, unfaithful to their marriage or what have you. But it's just very interesting that now the tables are turned and you're starting to see a different side of him. So first of all, I just want to put out there, like, we have to be careful about the type of relationship advice we're getting from the different voices, because we don't know a lot of these people's backgrounds. They make one statement, we love it, and then they're going viral. But we don't really know what the truth is of their circumstances, of their situation, if they have a strong marriage. If not, we don't know that. And now we're realizing that we need to have background knowledge on who we're receiving information from.
And this is why that exact statement is why it kind of burns me inside when I hear people say, oh, as a married couple, never take advice from a single person. And here's why I'm going to say it kind of ticks me off. Because I've seen many couples be destroyed by married couples. Okay, I've seen many couples be destroyed by married couples who are going through their own situations and giving poor advice based on their own situations. I've seen a lot of it, including my own family. I've seen a lot of it. So, like you said, it's not just about the status of their relationship, because wisdom comes from God, period. Wisdom comes from God. And because wisdom comes from God, I can have insight, or a single person can have insight into something that maybe you may not get from a married person, not because they're married, or not because, just simply because the wisdom of God is given. And somebody made a joke the other day, but it was so funny, because we take everybody who's saying like, oh yeah, don't listen to a single person because da 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 da. We take our advice on marriage from the Bible and from Paul, who was single.
Good point.
He was single. So your whole argument is knocked down simply by that point, that he wrote how many books? 13? And we base our biblical marriages on his principles, and he was single.
Very single.
Very single. And desiring for many of us to remain single with him.
Right.
So, the wisdom of God, you just have to know discernment. You have to have discernment. And I say this to say, like, even as a counselor, you can be a single counselor and counsel married people because there's skills. It's a skill set. There's things that you learn how to handle people, whether they're single or married. Some of the best counselors I know are actually single people. So, it's just about discernment. Because as we see right now, we got so many marriages that are false. They are pretentious,
Wow. Wow.
hypocritical.
Wow. I was
So then,
listening. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast that sometimes I listen to, and they were talking about how, while you're single, that you should really just enjoy that season of your life, because there are some people who may have gotten married and maybe they got married really young, and now they're looking back saying, I wish I had spent some more time in my singlehood getting to know who I am, getting
Mm,
to know my interests, my hobbies, what the things I like, the things I wanted to do in the future. And so I think that's a huge part of that single place of like really learning yourself, loving yourself, getting to know your likes and dislikes. And, being single is not all bad. When think about the fact that you have your time to yourself, you can spend your money how you want to spend it. You
mm.
don't have to ask anyone about, I want to take this trip. Nope. You don't have to consult with anybody but the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
And then get on the plane and go. And so I think, and it also is a time to just get to know yourself and understand
Yeah.
yourself, what you want out of life. And then you're more apt to choose the right partner, and you're not
Yeah.
choosing out of, loneliness or trying to, just get someone, but you're choosing out of really understanding who you are and who's going to be a best fit to accommodate you and support you in the things that you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I can say for myself that being single, though sometimes you do get a little lonely, but it has been a great time because Chabu, when I roll over in my bed when I'm tired and there's nobody next to me, I'm like, God, thank you. I can go to sleep. I can wake up when I want to
And
and
have the
mind my
whole bed to
business
yourself.
and have the entire bed to myself. It's wonderful. Like there are absolutely moments where I'm glad that I am by myself and have no one to answer to but me and Jesus. Like there are absolutely wonderful benefits of being single, and I have been able to just accomplish so much more than I would have had I been in a relationship. I know that for a fact because I put all of my energy into one thing. Like I just got to focus on this one thing, see if it works, when it works, whatever. So I know that if I was in a relationship, I'd absolutely be distracted.
I
I'd
hear
be
that.
distracted. Or prior to this moment. I think now I'm more ready now than before. Before I would have been very distracted. Mhm.
Absolutely. I think so. I think that season of singleness is just, work on your degrees, work on yourself, get healthy, do things that you really want to do, travel, see the world, enjoy yourself. And so that when the right person comes, you can just have a partner and it's like a best friend that you can do all of
Mhm.
these things with. So,
Yeah.
no one's glorifying marriage over being single. I think it's important for us to acknowledge that, being
Mhm.
single is not a bad thing. What are some, sometimes I talk to singles and they tell me, that they're always getting advice. Speaking of advice, they're always getting
Mhm.
advice from different people. What are some things you hear from different people regarding singlehood that you would say probably not the best thing to say to a single?
Let's see. I don't I don't know. Maybe because I don't really ask people's advice. Maybe it's because I don't really ask people's advice. Like, um,
Well, I'll tell
uh,
you, I'll start off. So I
yeah,
hear a lot
yeah.
of times people saying, "Oh, you should just get out there and just live it up." And I think
That's
that
it. Yes, that's it.
I think, that's challenging, right? Because as a believer, getting out there looks different. It
Hmm.
looks different than what another person can do and be involved in. And not that as a believer, you can't have fun and you can't get out there and get to know people and have a good time, but you have your standards. And so those standards don't change,
Hmm.
because you're single and you're trying to find someone. And so I
Yeah.
think that's important to think about as well. And then I think, then you have to teeter that balance of, okay, getting out there and then waiting on the Lord, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you're waiting on God, but what exactly does that look like? And I will say that, I do believe in waiting on God, and God's timing is perfect, and his timing you'll find the right person. I believe that wholeheartedly, but I also believe that you got to get out of the house. You got to,
Hmm.
pick up the phone. You got to be
Do
open
something.
to,
Be
to receiving what God has for you. So,
right.
I
Be
think those
somewhere.
components are important. So we got to teeter that balance. But what words of wisdom, final words of wisdom, would you give a single who may be discouraged, maybe feeling lonely? It's a pandemic. They're trying to figure out, okay, it's hard to date, when you're in the middle of a pandemic. What are some things that you can suggest or encourage them by?
Okay, so back to your last point, be somewhere. Be present somewhere. So because we can't always be physically present, I will say, and again, putting myself out there a little bit more than I normally would, I would say dating apps, honestly, I have nothing against them because with wisdom, my God, with wisdom, because some of these dating apps are not for you. They're not for you. They're not for you. Okay. With that said, yeah, I have nothing against dating apps because um, if your intention is right, then you will be okay. Your intentions have to be pure. Your intentions have to be right when using dating apps because a lot of people are going to come at you with a lot
Mm.
of different things. A lot of different things. They're going to come. But you just have to just hold on to your standards, and like you said, Ashley, you just hold on to your standards because and don't feel desperate. God is not subject to time. Like, don't look at yourself and be like, well, I'm 30, I'm 35, I'm 40. Oh my gosh, I don't have kids yet. Like, God is not subject to time. Like, don't be desperate because your desperation will get you into trouble. Don't be desperate. But yeah, I think just get out there, be present. Like I think you told me, Ashley, one time, go to where men are. Like go to where did you tell me?
I always tell people, think about the type of man you would like to meet and find where he is. Like, so I
Yes.
was saying, like, Trader Joe's.
Yes, that's what it was. Trader Joe's.
Home Depot. My mom always tells
Mhm.
people, go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, put your makeup on, look fresh, just go right on in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because
Go get your light bulbs.
do something like honestly, unless God sends the mailman to your house to come ring your doorbell, sis, nobody's gonna see you. Nobody's gonna find you. Like, go be present, go do something. And everybody wants to use Ruth and Boaz as an example. Okay, well, let's use them. Ruth was busy. She was minding her business. She was just trying to, get some food. She was trying to handle her business and stuff like that. And in process of just being out there, that's when she was seen by Boaz. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you sitting down and just looking cute with your makeup on it's not that's not enough. Put
Yeah.
yourself out there. Like it's
Mm.
okay. It's okay to be a little bit more confident and don't be intimidated or not intimidated, but yeah, don't be intimidated by the process. Just go out there and just have fun, a little bit of fun, not a whole lot of fun, a little bit of fun. And yeah, that's what I would say. Be present.
Yeah, the car wash is another location that I always tell
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
um,
I need to get my car clean. Let me go ahead on to the car wash.
Absolutely. And I think also another tip is like if you have friends who know of another single person and they know who you are, they know who the other person is, ask, hey, hook me up. I have heard so many stories of people who have been connected through friendship, simply
Mhm.
by two people or, someone having a party, they come together and they're like, oh, let's introduce these two people, so definitely be open to that kind of thing. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm super hopeful for singles. I believe that God has a plan for each one of your lives, and whatever it is, I know that He's going to reveal it. And I just want you to be hopeful and have faith and trust in God that He's going to do what He promised, and keep believing, keep the faith. Any
Mhm.
last words, Karian?
His timing is perfect. And when you do go on dates, date like just go on dates. It's okay. I think it's absolutely okay to go on dates and always have a wingman. Make sure your friends know where you are. Send them your location or have them somewhere in the vicinity. Do not go alone because people are crazy out here. So, but I support dating with wisdom. You have to get to know people somehow. So yeah, have fun
Absolutely.
and listen to
Absolutely.
God.
Yes, absolutely. I love all that. That's some really practical advice. Really
Mhm.
good. Well, thank you, Slay the Giant family, for listening. We appreciate you for joining us. Please leave a review at the end of this. And we look forward to talking to you again. And God bless until we meet again.